the reseller of Turnitin solutions in Taiwan. And welcome to today's Turnitin Student Version Training Workshop. I'm pleased to share with you about this tool for enhancing the original writing, which is Turnitin. So let's get started. And before starting our session, first we are now mute ourselves and turn off the camera. And if you have any questions during the session, you can take a note and leave your message in the chat box, or at the end of the session, if you would like, you can turn on your microphone and talk to me. And I'll glad to share with everybody about our discussion and the Q&As in the end of our training. So for today's handout, it can be downloaded at the library's website. If you would like to download the handout, please go to library's website and you can see here is a label, Turnitin. By scrolling down and you can see the English manuals here for users, student tutorial, etc. Okay, so my presentation will cover mainly 3 parts. The first one is the feature about Turnitin and what can the system do for me, and how to use the system. Then the last part will be the FAQs and the resources. So what can I do with Turnitin? Turnitin is a text similarity check-in software. It helps you to understand better the text similarity between your own work and the sources indexed in the system. For example, you may submit your master or doctoral dissertation or your research manuscript before published, etc. Or you can also screening your homework and papers. And the workflow is very simple. First, you have to submit a document to Turnitin. Then it will be checked against with their archive databases. Then generate a similarity report within 10 to 30 minutes. And based on this report, you can examine and revise your own work repeatedly to support your developing the good academic practice, as well as enhance the originality of your work. And how can the system process the similarity check? It is because they have a very big databases, come from 3 primary sources. The first one is internet, and the second one is the papers submitted by Turnitin users around the world. Then the last one is the scholarly publications from publishers and aggregators. So later when you checking your similarity reports online, you will see every sources will be marked with different type of databases. There is more than 1,500 international publishers cooperate with Turnitin. There are many leading publishers and open access repositories from various fields, such as biology, chemical, engineering, science, etc. And they all share their contents and publications with this company as source to check against the originality. The publishers also rely on Turnitin solutions as fundamental part of the manuscript screening and review process to protect their credibility and reputation. About the language Turnitin supports, not only in English, text in other 29 languages can be checked, and 20 languages supported in Turnitin user interface. That means when you activate your own account, you can change the user interface to the language that you are familiar with. Okay, so in today's session, I'll walk you through from the account activation, submitting document, and reviewing and download the similarity report. So feel free to leave your questions, to write down your questions, or you can, unmute yourself, maybe later in our FAQ session. So the first part will be to apply and activate your own account. So how can we do that? We have to go to the front page of the library and click at the icon of Turnitin at the right-hand side of the page. Then you will be able to see the details for applying your Turnitin account. So here are different regulations, the details, and you can check about it. So the applications are only for Chinese Cultural University faculty and students. please use your school email address containing the domain name acrobat.ulife.pccu.edu.tw for registration. So here we noted that we have to use this school email address to apply for your account. And then based on different campuses, you can check which form you are going to apply for your account. For example, if you are a school student from main campus, you have to click Get Here. And you will enter going to a form, and you have to fill out all of the information, and then the library will create an account for you. So within 3 work days, you will receive a welcome email from Turnitin in your email inbox, which means you have to go to your PCCU student email inbox. Then you will see maybe it's in English version or in Chinese version, this Turnitin welcome email. And the beginning of this email indicates your first name and the last name created by the librarian in Turnitin. For example, this is Miss Jane Doe. Her name is Jane, and her first name is Jane, and her last name is Doe. So we will use your last name to activate our own account. So you can copy your last name and then click at Set Up Account. Then you are going to this blue account setup page. Here you can input your email address, your PCCU email address, and your last name in the welcome email. For example, Miss Jane Doe, she has to enter Doe and click on the next. If you see a combination is wrong pop up, please confirm with the library about which is the correct email address or the last name information. And then a new email will show up in your inbox with the subject, which is set up your Turnitin account, or it may be in Chinese. So we have to go back to our email inbox and search for a new email. That new email is available only for 24 hours. And when we return to our PCCU email inbox, you will see here, set up your Turnitin account, a new email just came in. And here you can click at this label, link label here. So if the link is expired, you can click on another link below to request a new email, because this URL will be expired after 24 hours. When we click at here, the URL, you can enter and confirm your password, which is must be at least 12 characters long, with at least one number, upper or lowercase letters, and one special character. So when we create our own password and confirm the password details, click at the next. Then you can see here, account setup just complete. Click at login with your PCCU email address and the password combination you just set up. Then you can go to the system. Then you will see a page all in gray, which is you have to select a secret question from the drop-down menu in the center and enter an answer in the blank. This is for the use of if in the future you have forgotten your password to the system. The attorney will ask you about what is your secret question and ask you to answer that question. So we have to complete the setup here and click at the next. Then the last stage, you can see here is a user agreement. When we click at agree, continue. After that, you will all the processes will be completed, and you can directly go to Turnitin to start to use the service. That's how we activate our own account. Here is a question. I didn't find any email sent from Turnitin in my email inbox. What can I do? You can follow the reset your password steps to activate your account. So I'll show you how to do that. If you have any questions, you can contact the library, the administrator. Okay, the chapter 2 is resetting your password. If you have one day you just forgotten your password, you can follow these steps. First, we have to go to www.turnitin.com. Then click at Login at your right-hand side. Then you will see this page in blue. And we can just click at Forgot Your Password. Click here at the bottom. Then the system will ask you to input your email address, which is your PCCU email address. Then click at the next. If you didn't receive the reset password email, we have to contact library and we will conduct an investigation to see that if it is going to the spam or what kind of issues that make you didn't receive that email. Okay, click at the next. Then go back to your the next. You will see also in next step. The system will ask you about the secret questions. Just as I mentioned, we have to fill out the answer here. So it will show you about the secret question, and you can fill out the answer if you remember that. Click at the next. Then you can enter and confirm your password, which must be at least 12 characters long. Then click on the next. Then you can start to create your new password and log into the system. However, if you didn't remember any of your answer to the secret question, you can click at Forgot Your Answer below. Then a new email will be sent to your PCCU email inbox, and the link to reset your password in the email is also available only for 24 hours. So when we go to PCCU email inbox, then you will see a new email come in. Click at the link label here. Then it will direct you to the password resetting page. And after the process, you can log into the system. So it's very simple. If you would like to see how to complete these stages, you can always go to library's website and then download the handout for today and then check it one by one. Okay, so that's the previous, the first stages, how to activate our own accounts or reset our password to log in to access Turnitin. Then I'll show you how to submit the papers. In the daily life, if you want to log into Turnitin, we have to go to its main page, which is www.turnitin.com, or you can Google Turnitin. Then click on the login at the right top right side and input your PCCU email address and your Turnitin password, and then click at login. Then you will be led to the student homepage. Here are several buttons. The first one is user information, where you can change your password here. And the second one is language setting. When you activate your account, if it's displayed in Chinese, maybe you can change to English or other language that you would like to. And scroll down in the center, you will see here is the class information, where you can see the class names and instructor informations and the status of your classes. When the class is marked as active, like this, it means you can submit your papers and get your similarity report. When it shows expired, the papers cannot be uploaded anymore. You will need to contact the library or your own advisor or professor, and they will add you to an active class to let you to continue to use to upload the papers to Turnitin. And here is the start date and end date of each classes. And please do not click at the drop classes button because you will drop yourself out of the class and all the submission will be disappeared. Okay, so that's the display of the student homepage. And next, if you want to submit papers to any of your classes, for example, the classes created by the library or any classes created by your advisor professor, just click at the URL, the name of the class. Then you will see here are a different assignment inbox. For example, for here, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different assignment inboxes where I can submit my papers to or submit my homework, etc. Okay, and each of the assignment inbox can be resubmit for 50 times. When you would like to submit your paper, click at Open. Then you will go to the assignment's details. Then click the question mark. I can view the assignment details. For example, I noticed that assignment is allowed to make resubmissions here. And the due date is December 31st, which means I can check my draft of thesis from now until the end of the year. And then if all looks good, you can click at Upload Submission, this blue button to start. And before the submission, let's take a look at what kind of documents are available to check for the similarity. Turnitin can only check the text. It cannot identify any images, forms, or graphics. Furthermore, files generated by LaTeX, which is a kind of document preparation software, it will not be accepted by Turnitin. Then the document you are going to submit must less than 100 megabytes and 800 pages. For the browser environment, please use Google Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or Microsoft Edge. Please do not use the Internet Explorer. And below are the file types which can be checked for the similarity. For example, DOC or DOCX generated from Microsoft Word or other kinds of text format. If you would like to upload PDF files, if you would like to upload PDF files, your PDF files must not be protected with password or only images. It will be rejected during the upload attempt. So before you upload a PDF file, you can try to open it and copy and paste a section or all of the text into a plain text editor, such as Microsoft Notepad. If no text is copied over, the section is not actual text, so which means the PDF file cannot be read by Turnitin. So in general, when we upload any kind of PDF, we have to make sure that there has highlightable text which is copyable, and then it can be read by Turnitin and generate a similarity report. If everything is okay, we can start our submission. So now we are at the stage of submitting a paper. We can see there are 3 types of submission modes. The first one is upload submission, text input, or cloud submission. You can select upload submission and enter your submission title, then select the file from your computer. You may also change to the text input mode. You can cut and paste some text you want to submit, or you can access your cloud drive service like Google Drive, Dropbox, or OneDrive to upload your papers. So select one as you like. And then prepare your document, then upload and review. After uploading the papers, depends on the file size and length, you will see 2 different previews. The first one, if your papers has a bigger file size or hundreds of pages, it may take more time in the process. For example, if your papers are less than dozen or less than several, 20 pages, it is a smaller submission. That means you can see this preview. However, if you are submitting your thesis or dissertation, which is lengthier than maybe 100 pages, then you can see here is a image and icon, which show you that you will have to wait longer to generate a similarity report. So no matter which circumstances is, you have to click at Submit to Turnitin or Confirm to go to the next step. Then it will let you know that the submission is complete, and you will be led back to the assignment inbox. When we go back to the assignment inbox page, you can see the blank or a clock icon represents the report is still generating. And when this is your first 3 attempts to submit papers in each assignment folder, it could take 10 to 15, or several half an hour to return your report. And the waiting time depends on the length of the file size of your submission. So you can refresh the page to check the status. Turnitin is a cloud-based system, so you do not need to install any applications in your computer. And when you have Wi-Fi access, you can always have access to log into your account and then start your submission and check for the similarity reports. So after your submission, you can just leave it there and then go to a course or have your lunches, etc. And then when you think it's ready, you can go back, refresh your page, and then you will see the similarity report status. And as long as you have the internet connection, you can log into your account and submit papers and check in the result at any time. Then at the end of the assignment inbox, you can see here are 3 different icons. You can resubmit your papers if the instructor allows you to, or you can download the original file for your homework or dissertation, or you can download a digital receipt, which will include the dates and the submission title, etc., the information details about your papers as a PDF file. But they are not the similarity report copy, which means if you would like to download a similarity report copy, I'll show you how to do later. So now click at the icon in the middle because it's only download the original paper or original homework file. And how to resubmit your paper. Because the library allows students to override the previous submissions until each assignment's due date, so you may use the this icon to resubmit. Please note that your earlier submission and your report will be overwritten and the previous one will disappear. So for each assignment, you are allowed 3 resubmission attempts where the similarity report will be generated immediately. That means when you started to use each of the folder, when this is the first 3 times of your submission, the paper the similarity report will be generated, depends on the length and the size of your file. The lengthier or bigger of the file is, and the waiting time will become longer. However, when it's over the 3 resubmission attempts, that means each time when you submit, you have to wait for 24 hours before a new similarity report can be show up. And the maximum resubmission for each assignment folder is 50 times, which means when you, if you would like to have to make some revised version of your draft or a thesis, or you have to practice how to draft, you can have 50 times maximum to resubmit in each of the assignment inbox. And after that, the icon will be disabled. You cannot submit it anymore. So remember the second note. One day, if you may find that the paper is processing and the status continues for several hours, the chance is very high that it's because your submission has become more than 3 times. And the only thing you can do here is to wait for 24 hours. And unfortunately, no one was able to accelerate the speed of the paper generation in these circumstances. So even your instructor or library or us, the reseller or Turnitin cannot accelerate the generation speed of the paper. If you have these issues, you can change to another assignment inbox and then try to resubmit again. And the next chapter is how to interpret your similarity report. Okay, when we check in our assignment inbox and the similarity report is generated, you can see that here is a percentage and the icon, a color bar. The color of the report icon indicates the similarity score of the paper. It's based on the amount of matching or similar text that was uncovered. The redder the color is, the higher proportion of your text is similar to the data index in Turnitin's databases. If you see in a high similarity score, which means there are many matches or segment of your text are similar with the text index in the databases. However, these indices do not reflect whether a paper contains or not plagiarism, because human interpretation is always required to these similarity reports. If you got a very high similarity score, the most important thing is to examine your report and then to find out the reason why you got a very similar result with others' work. And you can work with your own thesis advisor or professor and to discuss about how can you improve your writing, or is this matches acceptable or not? Is this writing appropriate or not? Because the interpretation of the data should be made and discussed between you and your instructional advisor. That means Turnitin cannot tell anyone if a paper contains plagiarism only depend on its similarity score. If it's a high score, we cannot deem that it really contains plagiarism. We can only say that here is a high similarity matches in this paper. Okay, so we can click on the score here or the color bar to access the similarity report. When I click at it, here you can see, here is your paper at the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, here is some tools. You can interact with the similarity viewer. And let's take a look of the similarity toolbar icons. There's some icons in red. And also you can see here is a paper download toolbar. I'll show you how to download to keep a copy of the similarity report. So when we check in these tools, the first icon you will see that it names Match Overview. The Match Overview shows the highest matches together, and matches are color coded. You can see here are different colors and with different numbers. Only the top or best matches are shown in this list. If you would like to check any small sources, the details, you can always click at the icon at the end of the sources, then check for the small matches. And each match also indicates its sources. For example, what kind of text and where it came from according to the repository. For example, here you can see the number 1 is come from internet sources, and the number 2 is come from publications. Maybe it's a journal article, etc. And also here is a match which is similar with other university students' submissions. That's the first one, the match overview. And the second button is all sources. This view will show the similarities with one source at a time. And all of the sources have been found are displayed and sorted by also the highest percentage to the lowest percentage. So here you can check to toggle between each of the sources to check what are the text is really similar with your own work. Then the next icon is the filter and settings. By using this filter and settings, you could use this tool to exclude quotations, bibliographical materials, and the small sources, and I'll show you how to do later. So that's a preview of the 3 different icons. And let's go back to our report viewer. And you can click on the icon of the first one, which is the match overview. Here you can see the sum of the matches will come to a total number of the similarity score. So here, each one is a small matches, and the sum will be the total similarity score. And it will be when you using this tool, it will exclude some sources and drop down your similarity score. Then the color and number tags match each other from the right to the left, which means when you click at each of the sources, for example, the red number 1, and it will lead me to the at the left-hand side, the same paragraph of the text. And in order to view a match, you can either click at the sources or click at the paragraphs highlighted. For example, we click on the number 3 in purple. Then a side-by-side window will show a preview of the matching text. So below here, you will see that there is the original text of this particular website. Then I can compare the several paragraphs of the text with my own text. And we can compare the source text with the own text. The most important is to examine closely why do the matches occur. The matches occur when texts are similar. For example, it may be the presence of common phrases, direct quotation, the bibliography, etc. So when we revising our text, please confirm. Is it based on your similarity score? Consider the following. For example, choose only the most significant quotes or parts of the quotes to include from your sources. Or you can use summarize, paraphrase, or explain an idea in your own words rather than using direct quotations to the text. Or you can cite all of your evidence using the appropriate citation styles. You have to use academic writing techniques or consult your advisor on how to revise the high similarity matches or add more original text using your own words to reduce the text similarity. So that's the core part of how we interpret the similarity report, which means you have to check every of the matches and then read closely why does these matches occur and to read it to check if it's appropriate or not. Or you can use the techniques I mentioned to add more original text to drop down the similarity score to reduce the similarities of your text with others. Then here is an article, How to Prevent the Plagiarism when Writing. So we recommend you to click at here to read more about the details and how are the techniques. And as we mentioned, the side-by-side window will show the similar text. We can also click on the double pages sign to view the full sources. When you click at this small icon, you will see that the full text will be shown up at the right-hand side in the window. Then you can still compare the two paragraphs between your own work at your left-hand side and the original text at your right-hand side. Or you can also click at the URL. It will lead you to the original web page or the publisher's page, etc. Okay, and I mentioned in the beginning in my presentation, Turnitin has 3 different types of databases. So you will see each sources, it will mark the source of the database. If it's come from internet, because this kind of sources are able to be viewed in full text mode in the viewer because it is revealed to the public. So you can always click at the sign of the pages, the double pages, then you can see all of the text at the right-hand side. However, when you see that a sources is come from and copyright, only you and your instructor are able to see your paper, the full text of your paper. The full text is remained protected, unable to be viewed by other users. And the title of the source will only display an institution name, which means the detail or author information will not be revealed to the public. So you can be rest assured that if your paper are indexed to the system, no one will know who is the submitter or the writer or author of that paper. Only the similar paragraphs will be highlighted by the same colors. That's the second one, if the sources come from student papers. Oh, and also the library will not store or index any of your papers in Turnitin's databases. So if the students, you are using the class created by the library to submit or checking your thesis or dissertation, you can rest assured that your papers will not be indexed to the system. So it will not have a high similarity score and check against with your previous drafts. And the last one is publications. Because most of them, the publications, the journals, the papers are inaccessible and they are behind a paywall. So when you are seeing a publications, we suggest that you can click at the URL and then go to the publisher's website. And if your institutions has the access to the particular database or the journal, you can download that journal in a PDF file, then open it manually to side by side check against your it with your own work. So all in all, only the internet sources can be viewed the full text in the full text mode, and the other tools may not be able to view the full text. Okay, and the next one is the all sources mode. And here the all sources will help you to see how much of the similar text come from a single source. You can click in on an individual sources. It will also show you the match from the other subsources. So the subsources in gray are other some web pages within the same domain, the website. So there are different the similarity score. And by clicking on each the information, it will lead you to the original website. Okay, and the students can only navigate this all sources lists. You can click at the percentage or can see the preview of the text. However, only your teacher, your instructor will have this access to the exclude sources button, which means if it's your professor or your advisors, they can help you to exclude some sources that you would need their help too. For example, some students may have already published their papers to a journal. If they are checking their thesis, there may be some similarities between their thesis and the publications, the manuscripts. So it may show up as a matches in this the list. So if you would like to exclude the same your own publications, you have to go to your advisor or a professor and ask them to help you to exclude that particular paper by using this excluded sources function. And the next one is to use the filter and settings. Apply filter and settings. Filter and exclusions will reduce the similarity index score and refine the number of the matches shown in a report. And the function can filter out the bibliographical material, quotations, and the small matches. So I'll show you how to use these three different tools. The first one is to exclude quotes. The system will disregard any matches that use the following quotation marks, which is the marks labeled here in the center. However, this one will not be supported, which means when you are drafting your thesis or dissertation, you are using the direct quotation marks. And then when you click at the tool to tick at it and click at apply changes, the system will go to a search for any quotation marks and help you to exclude the matches between the two quotation marks. So after that, the percentage will drop down and you will not see the paragraphs highlighted in color in your report. So that's the first one, the first tool to exclude the quotes. And the second one is to exclude the bibliographical material. So the system will check the title of your paragraph. You have to use, for example, references, resources, bibliography, literature, etc. When it finds these type of titles, it will help you to exclude the paragraphs below. And other definitions can be found in this link. So I have to use the correct titles in my own thesis or dissertation. Then I can go to this tool and enable it to tick the box, then click at Apply Changes. And after that, you will see that the paragraphs after the reference title will be excluded from the similarity report, and also the score will refresh itself and drop down. However, we have to know that if you put a wrong heading, for instance, if you're adding chapter 6 reference, Turnitin cannot recognize it, and this exclusion tool will not work. So we can only put the correct title, which is only one the word, which is reference, references, or something, etc., or in this list. Okay, that's the second tool. And the last one, we can also exclude the small sources by either word count or by percentage. However, please note that the functions for excluding the material are approximate, and human judgment is the final arbiter for a proper quotation or bibliographical reference. So in a larger document, even a percentage of only 1% exclusion may exclude very large matches or sources. So please use it very carefully. We suggest you consult your advisor how much sources you are allowed to exclude, which means you have to check with your advisor or your department office about, are we able to enable this tool to use it in our checking of papers or thesis, or it's only suitable for using it in a assignment level. So that's very important. For example, here, if we input a threshold of to exclude less than 1% of the sources, when we go back to the list, we can see that all of the sources which is less than 1% of the similarities will be excluded from the report, and only the above 1% sources will be left in this report. Okay, that's all of the filters tool that students are able to use. Then here is a question that we frequently ask by instructors and by students. Could you tell me what percentage of the similarity score given by the system is appropriate? In my case, I got a blah, blah, blah percent from Turnitin, which is okay or not. We have to stress that Turnitin is a tool to detecting text similarities, and the similarity score is not reflect the company or the system's assessment of whether a paper has or has not been plagiarized. And as I said, human interpretation is always required, and we cannot judge the existence of plagiarism only by the similarity score. And a high similarity score does not necessarily mean there is plagiarism. It may include false positives. What are the false positives? It could be, first, the terms usually used in your field, or there are some grammatical terms, the names of the department or organization, or that may be some cases of reference list, or properly cited or quoted text, or some text that you have with permission. And the last one, just as I mentioned, maybe it's your own published paper or manuscript, or some assignment index was stored in the student paper databases. For example, maybe one day your advisor or your professor may index or store your paper or your I don't know, midterm paper, etc., or your assignment to the system to not let students to have collusions. So if in the future you have to use some of the text in that of the assignment or the paper, then you will see some similarity matches between that paper and your dissertation. You can see that there are some sources come from Chinese Cultural University, and that's the same text because it was indexed in the system. So if there is a big chunk of similarity text, you could try to rewrite them using the paraphrase or summarize techniques. If the content cannot be rewrite, you have to discuss with your advisor and ask them if they are able to use their instructor accounts to help you to exclude the certain sources or exclude these false positives. And you can also use the filter to exclude the quotation and bibliographical material to reduce the similarity score. Therefore, there is no magic score to what are the extent of which is a good score or what is a not appropriate score. The best way is to discuss the appropriate criteria with your department and your instructor advisor or follow their guidelines. And if you would like to, if it's a manuscript to the publishers, you have to review the policy of the journals. Yes, so that's the question that is very frequently be asked by students. Then the next chapter will be how to download the similarity report. That means if you have already revised my own work, I have used to enable this filter tools, and I think everything is okay. I can download it, keep it, the report, and hand it to my institutions or my instructors. How can I do? So let's go to this icon to download the similarity report. Please click at the current view, this button, and then it will help you to save your similarity report with a PDF format. And in the center is the digital receipt. I don't think we will need this document. However, if you would like to, you can keep that. It's a document that notes your submission title, the date of the submission, the author name, and the characters or words, etc. Some details of the document. And the third one is to download the original submitted file. Okay, and after we download this similarity report, here is the copy. The cover contains information of the submission title, author name, and submission date. And from the next page, it's the original text with color-coded matches. So as we see in the match overview, there are different paragraphs highlighted by different colors and numbers. So every matches will be shown in the middle of the text. And at the last page, we can see here is a summary with the source list, as well as we found in the match overview. So the score will be the last status, the score when you download it, you keep the similarities report. And here we can see there are 3 different indexes, which means how many of your text is similar with this particular databases. And below will be the top sources of each match. For example, what is the number? What is the sources, the name of the sources, the name of the website, the publishers, or the institution's name. And you can also see the match of each, the percentage of each matches. And at the bottom, if we excluded bibliography, quotation, or small sources with the filter, it will be noted at the bottom of this the last page, which means if your instructor or the department, they are checking your thesis or dissertation, they may check this part of the last page to see that if you have used enabled properly the similarity exclusion tools or not. Then here is another icon, which is paper information. When we click at icon labeled I, here is a submission ID, which means if you have encountered any issue, you can contact library staff with the error screenshot and your submission ID, and we will help you to investigate it further. Then the second information is very important, which is submission count. This number indicates how many times have you submitted papers to this particular assignment. For example, in this screenshot, I see this is only my first submission. So, which means when I still have 2 to 3 times to see my similarity reports immediately. And after that, if it's above 3 times from the fourth, fifth, sixth, etc., we have to wait for 24 hours before a new similarity report to show up. So if when you are not sure, you want to check how many times have I submitted to that assignment, or should I wait for 24 hours? You can open your similarity report and check this eye icon and check for the submission count. Then here is our last chapter, which is frequent asked questions. And I'll show you what are they and what are the sources that it will help you to know more about Turnitin. First one, I have been waiting for several hours, but my similarity report is still processing, it's pending. And how can I do? If you are using a class created by your instructor or advisor, you can start from number 1. You have to confirm the assignment settings with your own instructor or advisor because they can check our FAQs here. Because the instructor sometimes, if they made the errors of their settings, it will prevent you to see the correct similarity reports, or it will prevent you to not seeing any of the similarity reports, which means they have to adjust their settings. So make students to will be able to check their report results. And if you are using the class created by the library, start from number 2. You have to ask yourself if your paper contains lots of graphics and formulas, or is very large, have dozens of megabytes, or have several hundreds pages length. It will take longer to generate the report. So let's skip it sometimes and then wait for the report to be generated. If you still can't see any of the report, please contact library staff and along with your screenshot and the paper IDs. Then we will help you to resolve it. And also, you have to examine the submission counts in the information panel. If you're submitting papers to this assignment more than 3 times, you have to wait 24 hours and it cannot be accelerated. However, if you have some time pressure, you cannot wait for 24 hours. You have to consult your instructor or your department, and they can create new assignment folders for you. And because the first 3 submission attempts will get the similarity report within 24 hours, and it will help you to resolve your issue. That's the first questions. The second one, I got a very high similarity score, and the first matches are my previous drafts, which noted student paper come from Chinese Cultural University. And I see my name, my institution names, and the texts are identical. So I'm very sure that that's my previous drafts, and what can I do? The classes created by the library will not index any of student papers in the system. However, sometimes it is your advisor or a member of the oral defense committee who submitted your paper to review, but incorrectly indexed it in Turnitin. So first, you may consult your advisor or instructor for help to exclude that source in the report. And then you can ask the instructor whose index or store your paper to request a permanent deletion request, and the administrator will help them to approve that. So after that, the paper will be removed from today's databases. And after that, when we resubmit it, then the similarity score will drop down. So for this chart, it is for the instructors. If you have this happen these circumstances, you can go to library to ask for help, and they'll show you how to do that. So if you are using a class created by your own advisor or your instructor, we suggest and recommend you that you can go to them and ask them if they are very sure that the assignment inbox will not index or store any of your paper into Turnitin's databases. We recommend them to check before let student to make submissions. And here are some resources that we recommend to use. You can find the English manual and English student tutorials here. And today's slides will be updated to the library's website after the training. All right, so that's the end of my presentation. So thank you very much for joining today's training. Please feel free to leave your questions. I don't know, even by in the chat box or unmute yourself so we can discuss or talk together. And I'm glad to answer any questions related to how to use this system. But if you have any questions related to the graduation examination or the criteria of what's the appropriate score, I think you have to contact the department office. Okay, so anyone has any questions about how to use Turnitin? Feel free to ask or, I don't know, type in the chat box.